Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to East Central Missouri and the world, and welcome to the James Strong Show podcast, podcast number 262. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making us a part of your day. I appreciate it. This podcast was recorded on the afternoon of Saturday, April the 2nd, from the Hilton Bentley Hotel in Miami Beach, Florida. That's right, vacation time. Had a trade show this week. Actually, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had the trade show. Wednesday night, the trophy wife decided to join me, so we spent the rest of the week and the weekend down here in sunny, warm, southern Florida. Now, for those of you in the Midwest or other places that are cold, the weather here has been low 80s every day. Nothing but sun, a few clouds here and there, the white puffy ones that kind of give you a respite from the hot sun. And no complaints, no troubles, no worries. In fact, the toughest part about doing this podcast has been to try to find a place to record it. Couldn't do it at the pool because there's too much going on there. Too much noise, too much activity, too much of the thump, thump, thump of Latin music in the background at the pool. The beach, of course, I couldn't record there because there's really not good Wi-Fi at the beach. I couldn't do it on the terrace of our suite that we have here because there's an air conditioner that runs, makes it too loud. So I had to come into the hotel room actually, and it's actually a little loud here, but no worries because I just turned the air conditioner off and everything's nice and quiet. So, podcast from Miami Beach, Florida. On today's podcast, the title of the podcast is The Business of Doing Business. Now, what the heck does that mean? If you read anything about the news nowadays, we're coming out of the pandemic. There's a war in Europe, the biggest war we've had in Europe since World War II. How big will it get? I don't know. Nobody knows. But there are so many moving parts to what's going on now in the world. But business moves on. Business goes on. Business continues. It always has. It always will. That's just the way things work. So we're going to talk about business. The business of, because I'm at a trade show, of course, this is a business type thing. So lots of observations on how my day job business has changed, evolved, just changed, okay? Some ways for the good, some ways for the better, some ways for the worst, but changed nonetheless. And it's been 3 years since I've been to South Beach. Actually, since the last time we had a trade show down here. The last time I came, we just came for the show, and then I went home. Trophy wife didn't join me for the show. We had other obligations. But it's been a good 4 or 5 years since we've been down here together. And things have changed here. Some for the better, some for the worst, but absolutely for sure, things have changed down here. To start off, how did we get here? Well, again, I told you this was a trade show. So I thought, you know what, let's turn a vacation or take a business opportunity and turn it into a vacation. If we're coming down for a trade show, the boss is paying the airfare for me, so we do it that way. I just let him pay the airfare. I come back later. Life is good. The hotels, I love the Hilton hotels, as those of you who listen to the podcast know by now. And I have lots of miles with Hilton, so I was able to pay for the hotel with miles. So if the boss pays for the airplane ticket and the points or miles, however you want to talk about, refer to them, if they're paid for by, my what I have in the bank, then all I got to pay for is food and the incidentals. So we have a nice vacation, and it kind of gets paid for by a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of me, a little bit of them. So it all turns out well. Monday, we actually flew down on Monday, me and my business associates, St. Louis to Miami direct flight on Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines now flies to Miami. It's a fairly new thing. American used to be the only way down here, or at least the only direct way down here. Now that Southwest flies, there's that many more options. First 2 nights we spent at the Nautilus by Arlo. Never spent a night in that hotel. Very nice. at the corner of 18th and Collins. We're actually just about 2.5 blocks over from the convention center. So a nice, easy walk from the hotel to the convention center where we had the trade show each and every morning. First time down here, our first night down here, of course, if you're in Miami Beach, what do you have to do? That's right, eat Cuban food. So we ate at a restaurant called Havana 1957. It's kind of what you would think, kind of a throwback to the pre-Castro days of Havana. You have tostones and plantains and fish and all the good stuff. And a drink they call the Mediano Mojito. They have 3 sizes of mojitos: pequeño, small; mediano, medium; and then the grande. I have no idea what the grande is because the mediano, this was a mojito served in a large, basically a pub glass, and it was wonderful. Food was good too, so we had a good time on Monday night with mojitos and Cuban food. The trade show, that was during the day on Tuesday night, and we'll talk more about the trade show later on in the podcast, part of the business end of the podcast. Dinner on Tuesday night, a fish called Avalon. It's a fish restaurant, naturally, 8th and Ocean. And I had the macadamia nut encrusted snapper, and it was unbelievably good. Wednesday, back to the trade show. Wednesday night, the trophy wife arrives. I pick her up. We get checked into the new hotel. The hotel was the Bentley by Hilton at the corner of First and Ocean. I took an Uber down here. She took a cab ride from the airport to the hotel. And I just want to set aside a little bit about the cab ride before I continue on with the footprint of the trip. A lot of people feel bad for cabbies because Uber has kind of taken over their domain. The guys have a tough job of it. And actually in Miami, I found that a cab is just as cheap as an Uber. At least it used to be. Because what they did from the airport to South Beach is they had a fixed rate. It wasn't a metered rate, it was a fixed rate. About $40-45 is what it cost, okay? Maybe 50, something closer to that. I forget. But it was basically a standard rate, $44, okay, plus tip. Cab drops off my wife. I go to take the luggage out of the trunk. I ask my wife, have you paid the cabbie yet? She says, oh, I'm just paying him right now. So I don't pay the cabbie. And I asked, well, how much was it? Because I'm looking on the window, it said $44. She said it was $85 plus tip. I said, what? She said $85 plus tip, $15 tip, so it was a $100 cab ride. I said, wait a minute. I went over and talked to the cabbie. He sees what's going on. He gets into his cab very quickly. I knock on his window. He doesn't want to roll it down. I knock on it again. He rolls it down a little bit. I said, you charged my wife $85 for this cab ride. He said, yeah, that's what it cost. I said, no. The window says $44 fixed rate from the airport to Miami Beach. He says, oh, we don't do it that way anymore, and takes off. Translation, he ripped off my wife. He ripped off me. The cab driver stole from us. Well, I called the cab company, and they said, oh, no, we would never do that. It's only this much. It's a fixed rate. Our people would never do this. I said, look, he did it. His name was Jean-Baptiste. Most cab drivers that we've had down here are from Haiti. Well, we don't know anybody like that. What was his cab number? I said, I don't know what his cab number was. Well, we would have never done anything like that, sir. You don't know what you're talking about. You're mistaken. So I hung up the phone. Translation. As long as I can remember, cab drivers have had a bad reputation of ripping people off. We were in Dallas one time, and I was attempted to be ripped off by a cab driver. It was actually me and the boss. We were in Dallas. We went from the hotel to a well-known restaurant for dinner. Cab ride was $10. We finish dinner. We get another cab to go back to the hotel. The guy's taking us back a different way. The boss says, hey, you're taking us back a different way. He says, oh, no. This is a quicker way. This is a much quicker way. It costs less this way. It's a better way to go. Okay, you're the cab driver, your town, you let us know. He drops us off at the hotel. He says, that'll be $25, please. The boss says, how much? He said, $25. That's what the meter says. And the boss said, it only took us $10 to get down here. No, you must be mistaken. The boss looks at the cab driver, gives him a $10 bill, says, this cab ride's $10. This is all you're getting. F you, we're done. The cabbie didn't argue with him or anything. But he was trying to rip us off. Like that guy ripped off my wife, ripped off me. He stole from us. He cheated us. Now, that's 2 times in my life. And I've probably taken 25 cabs in my life. Maybe 20. Let's say closer to 20, okay? 2 times they attempted to rip me off. 3 if you include a time when they tried to charge me too much and I called them on it and they backed off. So 3 times out of 20, they've tried to rip me off. 1 time they succeeded. Friends, if you take an Uber, everything's pre-negotiated. They charge the card. There is no chance to get ripped off. Do you think I'll ever take a cab again? The answer is no. So for any of you folks out there who feel bad for cab drivers, you know what? You've got a reputation of stealing from your clients. Uber's easier. It's cheaper. Nobody wants to take your stupid cab anymore. You've lost me as a customer forever. Okay, I'll digress and get back to the happier stuff after the getting ripped off. Where were we? Trophy wife arrived. We ate on Wednesday night. We ate at a restaurant called Prime Italian. Actually, it's attached to the hotel. We're both tired. We didn't want to walk any place. We had a wonderful caprese salad made with buffalo mozzarella. We then had orecchietta pasta with like an olive oil sauce and big monster Kobe beef mushrooms. Wonderful dinner. Went to bed, got up in the morning, and on Thursday, basically, we just spent the whole day at the pool. I took a walk. I always take my walk up through just around town, up the beach, down the beach, up through the restaurants and that. I'm usually gone for an hour, hour and a half, just take a nice walk while she stays at the pool and takes a nap. I come back down, I take a nap, we swim in the pool for a little bit. We have happy hour. We go out to dinner. Thursday night was Finnegan's Way, an Irish pub, somewhere about the corner of 15th and Ocean. And Finnegan's Way has changed a bit too because of the pandemic. You may read about some of the problems they've been having down in South Beach with the spring breakers and the gunfire, everything. Well, they shut down that part of Ocean Boulevard to traffic, so there's only walking traffic. Well, if there's only walking traffic, the reason I have dinner on Ocean Boulevard, or Collins if it's up a little further north, is to experience the food, people watch, and watch the supercars go by. Well, if they shut the street down to traffic, there are no supercars going by. That's a problem. But you know what? That's okay. It's fine. We had a nice happy hour at Finnegan's Way. We then went back to a fish called Avalon. It was so good the first time we decided to go back there again. I had the same macadamia nut encrusted snapper that was just as amazing the first time as the second. We also had stone crab appetizers, which stone crab's kind of a unique Florida thing. The claws only are sold. But it was wonderful. Came home, went to bed, got up the next morning. Same thing, breakfast, pool, take a walk, had happy hour, had fish tacos on Friday night at, I don't remember the name of the restaurant, a little hole-in-the-wall place that was just off of Ocean Boulevard. But they had good fish tacos there. This morning we got up for breakfast. We're sitting at the pool. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This is Saturday. I need to do a podcast. So I wrote the podcast sitting at the pool, drinking a cup of coffee, came up here to the room, and I'm recording the podcast. Whenever I'm finished, I will go back down. We'll take a little swim, a little nap, a little sun, a little fun. We'll go to Mass tonight. We've got dinner reservations at another Cuban restaurant. Go to bed, get up in the morning. It's Sunday. We'll come home. So far, I mean, vacations are wonderful. You know what I like to say. You need to have the vacation of a lifetime 3 times a year.